Welcome, John Shelter, our guest.
Well, thank you very much, Scott.
Great to have you.
It's happy to be here.
Want to learn all about who you are, what you do, your job title. Let's start with that. What's your job title and position in life and in your job?
Well, I am most importantly a husband and a grandpa to our granddaughter that we're raising. My position at my business is I'm the owner and coordinator of New Directions.
Nice. And New Directions is what, for those of us?
It's a social enterprise that actually deals with the environmental impact that homelessness creates.
Yeah.
But we take on a lot of other jobs as learning aspects for the homeless as we do like an employment training for them.
Nice. Right. How long have you been doing that?
Oh, I've been doing it for about 20-something years, 12 years as a business now.
12 years. Wow. And how long have you been married?
29.
Nice. I have your answer. When anybody asks that again on the podcast, how long have you been married? And I always say, not long enough.
That's always a good one.
That's for you, Joni, and I know you're tired of that, but there you go. Anyway, so I'm going to hit you with the two questions right out of the gate because sometimes it's better to get these out of the way. Who's John Shelter, and what do you want? We'll start with the first part. Who are you?
I'm a gentleman that's seen an issue in our communities that wanted to address it. And unfortunately, the only way I was going to address it was to create a business.
Wow.
Nonprofit seems the most easiest, but they're too self-reliant on the government. And the funding for what we do as New Directions really doesn't exist.
Gotcha. So you're kind of always trying to make ends meet.
Always trying to make ends meet, but it's always about the community. I love Humboldt County and I love our community, and I don't believe any issue can't be resolved.
Amen. Yep.
I believe in compromise as one of the biggest tools that we can utilize.
Right. We don't seem to be too big on that these days. No one's too really long on a lot of compromise.
No.
Sorry.
In this society, it's either a microwavable society where we want it done right now, or I have to win.
Right.
And I always believe that with a compromise, you can have two winners.
Amen. Yeah. Win, win, win.
Yeah.
Yep. I like it. That's well said. I thought of it that way. You're right. And so what do you want?
I want an opportunity.
To do what?
To do more.
Okay. Good.
I'm doing everything I can physically and possibly and financially do as John Shelter, our community member,
nice.
The head of New Directions. But without the support, we can't get any bigger. It's the craziest thing to watch all the ideas that we used 10, 12 years ago when we had when we had our service center being utilized now. 12 years later, they're finally coming up with the ideas that we had 12 years ago.
Interesting.
And so now I have ideas, and my biggest struggle is I want the opportunity to prove I'm right or for you to prove I'm wrong. But until we take that step forward, we'll never know. There's some things that there's no money in, so nobody wants to do it.
Right.
And for some reason, nobody wants anybody else to do it.
Interesting.
You know, I want to do, my biggest goal is an employment campground for the homeless. This doesn't mean, hey, open up a big field and bring all the homeless in. It means a restricted area that you can relocate people that are camping where you don't want them to a place where you do want them, so you can actually allow them to heal themselves. We're too much in a generation where we want to fix people.
Right.
And we can't fix people.
It's not working.
No.
Yeah. I love that vision. So we'll talk more about that. Tell me about what does support look like? Is it, hey, if we wrote big checks today, I mean, that would help, but what does support look like for you, John?
Team. That's what support means. Nobody should have to do everything.
Yeah.
There's enough out there so we can all pitch in.
Yeah.
A piece of land for here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some help with restrooms over here.
Right.
That's the kind of thing that we're looking at. When you're talking about an employment transition campground, it would support itself.
So is there a model for that in other towns and other communities around the nation?
Yeah, there actually is, but none of them have done it to this release. They have to have a nonprofit step in. For instance, Caltrans was giving state money to create a work program for the homeless. Well, it would sound obvious that even District 1 said, well, we have somebody here, John Shelter in New Directions.
Sure.
Well, we can't deal with them because we need a nonprofit. So they went to Butte County and got Elijah House. And now you see a little van pulling behind a Caltrans trailer on the side of the highways.
In Humboldt.
With their buckets and the grabbers picking up cigarette butts on the highway.
Huh. From Elijah House in Butte County.
Yeah. So they started an office here.
Okay.
So that's not teamwork. That's not already pulling on what we have here.
It's not grassroots at all.
No.
So let's back up. So for you in Minnesota watching this podcast, you go, what are we talking about? Humboldt County has a homeless problem. We're agreed on that. It's not Portland, it's not San Diego, it's not San Francisco, but it's Humboldt, and it's affected all of us.
Absolutely.
I've seen the violence, I've seen the poop, I've seen the buckets of crap, I've seen the needles. I'm just one business guy. I don't get around that much, but it's not missed on me. So talk about homelessness in our county and what maybe its existence and its numbers and its proliferation, if you wouldn't mind.
Let's break it down to what you were saying. You've seen the needles, you've seen the poop, you've seen the trash. And let's look at why they're there. It's very simple to blame, well, it's all from the homeless. Where did the homeless get the trash? And do they have a place to put the trash when they're done with it? The syringes, that wasn't, I grew up in an era where the syringes, if you got caught with one, it was a felony.
Right.
Now I picked up over 14,000 of them in 12 years.
Wow.
That's crazy. So we have to look at, well, yeah, they're from the homeless. They're the ones throwing them around, but where did they get them?
Right.
See, so everything that we look at bad about the homeless has been created. We like to give out clothes on demand. People need clothes. I understand.
What do you find in trash and homeless camps? Clothes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and needles.
Yeah, because, if the thrift stores want to give out clothes, if people want to give out clothes, it's very simple. I'll give you clean clothes. You give me your dirty ones. Thrift stores, St. Vincent de Paul's and the Mission are very good about that, but they never take them back because it's a cost.
Right. They got to destroy it.
Yeah. The same thing with the thrift stores now. They don't take everything because of the cost of throwing it away.
So I'm curious, you're going upstream. You're going where did they get the needles? Where did they get the drugs? Where did they get the trauma that caused it all?
And think about it, the elements. A person that doesn't want to be out there that's exposed to all the elements is going to cause you an anxiety. It's going to cause depression. It's going to cause many different illnesses mentally,
right?
Which actually starts the process of going physical.
Right.
You start medicating to get rid of the mental issues. You start breaking down the physical body. That's the part, the message, if we want things to get better, then we have to do a better job at connecting with the homeless population.
Yeah.
And that's the part we haven't done. It's much easier to turn a blind eye. Scott, you and I live in the same city. Not even 100 yards off of Central Avenue, you have 10,000 pounds of trash.
Wow.
You have large encampments that nobody wanted to see.
You and I live in the same block.
Yes, we do.
Does that mean we're good neighbors?
I know I had a very good gentleman tell me I was. He actually gave me a plaque.
That's right. You are a good neighbor, John. There's no doubt about it. So we need to team up, and the homeless need to team up. We need to connect. It's connection, relationship. Yeah, and I've discovered that as a business owner. I've got a couple guys that I met over the years who were campers, would hang out during the day and just dialogue with some of these guys. And it's been human beings, Imago Dei, image of God. There's a guy that's the image of God. He's a human being.
Yeah.
Loved and beloved just like me, but has a different story and a different narrative.
Yeah. I have not been accosted, threatened, or beat up in a homeless encampment. I've been walking in them 20 plus years.
So never wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's you know, you have mental ill people that start screaming and yelling at you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
They've learned on the street that if they scream and yell and swing their arms around,
go away.
People will go away.
Yeah.
I don't. I sit there and smile a lot.
Good for you.
And when they calm down, I ask them, "Are you mad at me?" And usually the answer is no.
Right.
And I said, "Okay, well then let's start again."
Yeah.
And sticking my hand out and to shake their hand, I would say 8 times out of 10, they shake my hand.
Wow.
So it's all how you want to come at the situation,
Mm-hmm.
how you want to look at it. You know, it's way too simple to give dumpsters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've actually talked to people about, well, you know, maybe we should put a couple dumpsters out here somewhere
Mm-hmm.
and let them use it. Well, then everybody's going to use them. Okay, well, then that means we have a few less illegal dumps then.
Right.
You know, poor people are going to want to dump it. Now, I can't imagine somebody that's wealthy that's going to go to a dumpster and throw their garbage in there.
Right.
I don't see that.
I've seen a couple, but other story. So leading measures would be to address it on the upstream. Lagging measures are you pulling out 10 tons of trash off of Central Avenue. And is that primarily what you do in terms of the crews that you run and the stuff that you guys do day to day?
I usually get called to these sites when they get bad.
Mm-hmm.
When the cops are scratching their head saying, okay, we've done everything we can. Code enforcement's now involved and they're threatening the landowner to sue them or fine them for the homeless being there or trash.
Right.
So then we get called in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a weird situation because we have no place to send the homeless to.
Right. They have to.
And I love, and that's the jobs I take on are the homeless in camps that have people in them. I love people, all people.
Good.
And that's the way you get through to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the answer.
Well, I think none of us do, and I think that's where we're going. So, what you employ former homeless, correct?
I
Part of
employ
your team?
homeless.
And homeless that help you go help the homeless.
Yep.
So their insights have to be really valuable.
Their insights are, I would not be...
Invaluable is the word.
Yeah, I would not be John Schulter. I would not be the head of New Directions without the homeless population.
Mm-hmm.
And let's get that straight.
Yeah.
The homeless population is what makes the people of New Directions.
Yeah.
The connection they have with the other individuals. We just took on a job working with the city of Fortuna. And I walked into a couple camps today, cold. And, hey, John.
They knew your name?
They knew me.
Good.
And see, so everybody's connected. So these homeless that have been pushed from one city to another community, from this other community, they've all ran across each other.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody knows how to deal with a homeless individual than another homeless individual.
Right.
Nobody understands the kindness, the humanity that's in the homeless population because they're too busy looking at their clothes and their demeanor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I've actually seen where if somebody became new homeless, that they were greeted by other homeless and say, okay, you know, you can share my tent for tonight and we'll figure something out for tomorrow.
Yeah.
The compassion of sharing their food, what little bit they have or what little bit they've stolen. The sharing part.
Sure.
These are the things that I've seen.
Protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the part that we have to get through to people is that and I've heard it so much, it's became a cliche or whatever. They're just like us. They could be our mom and dad. But we seem to forget that.
Yeah.
When we're dealing with them.
I was going to ask, because there's some brilliant people that are homeless, that were educated, that had a wife and 2 kids and a dog and a house, and then their best friend took their wife and they went bonkers and went homeless. Actually, true story. My friend Jeff met a guy like that. He just lost everything to his best friend, and he couldn't take it.
Switch.
Switch went off.
Switch went off. So
I guess my point is that I would assume there's a demographic or a psychographic that's homeless, and that's not true, because it's a big spectrum of people.
Big spectrum. There's no classification. You can't say homelessness is created by mental illness. You can't say it's created by just substance abuse.
Mm-hmm.
It's created by a loss of a job. It's created by a loss of a partner.
Trauma.
Trauma is basically the key word there. Homelessness is created by trauma.
So Officer LaFrance was here. Do you know Lenny?
Oh, yes.
What a nice man.
He's my favorite. The commander is one of my favorite
Commander's
people.
a cool dude, and he gave us some insight, and he helps with folks with autism and trains other teams of police force to deal with that population. But he said that there's a scale of trauma. It has a name. It's the APGAR scale or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And many homeless are like 4.0. They're high achievers in trauma, sadly, and they've been hurt over time and space. And that hit me hard. I go, oh, these are people that have been hard done by and stepped off.
Yeah. And then we compound that by offering resources that are created by governmental agencies versus what the homeless actually need.
Which is what? Well, let's ask.
Bathrooms, trash cans, a safe place to be. That's the big one. There's not too many camps. You know, everybody goes, oh, they won't go to a camp. They won't do that. And there's not too many that I've actually engaged, even the ones today, brand new, Fortune, the first time I met them. Well, they knew me, but I couldn't remember them. That was sad.
Because you're getting old like me. That's age.
But it's the fact that we need them. We can't just transition them from a tent that they've been living in for 10 years out in the wilderness, being chased around, being beaten down all the time, and expect them to just move right into an apartment and thrive.
Right.
We need to transition them in smaller stages. In other words, they're camping right now, and that's where they feel comfortable. So what we need to do is move them to a place we can allow them to camp, where we can oversee them and assist them in recreating their lives. The individuals that have lost their lives due to trauma, once they've actually been able to be helped, when they feel like they're really being heard, when they're being felt like they're cared for, a lot of that dissipates, and then you start getting through.
Yeah.
I've proved it over with 198 different people now.
Nice. So there's connection that's being met. It takes time and trust.
Actually, yes.
In relationships.
You just can't plop them into an apartment.
No.
It doesn't work. And of course, everybody that's making money off of the housing is going to say, oh no, housing first. Yeah. And I'm going, there's a lot more to homelessness than just housing.
Right.
If we really want to help these guys, or wait, do we just not want to see them? If you don't want to see them, you shove them in an apartment. You shove them in a detox center. You shove them someplace where you don't have to see them anymore.
Till they're back out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about John for a while.
Okay.
That's good stuff, though. You insightful. So who was John Shelter at, say, 10 years old? Where were you? How'd you get to Humboldt? Where were you? Where were you raised?
Well, I was born on Long Island, Mastic, Long Island in New York. My mom was a housewife at that time. My dad was a banker. My grandpa lived right next door, full-blood Italian. You know, he was an egg farmer back then.
Egg on Long Island. Okay.
Then my dad got a job offer and decided that he was going to go stay with his brother in California. So we hooked up the vehicles, sold the
New York
houses.
to California.
Yep. And
whereabouts?
That was 11 years old. We went to Long Beach. That's where we first went, is Long Beach, California.
Got married in San Pedro Harbor.
Oh, really?
100 years ago.
100 years ago.
How do I look?
Yeah. Better than most.
Yeah, that's down the coast from here. It's about 800 miles, 600.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, we lived in Long Beach.
I bet it was a little village back. It wasn't huge back then.
Oh, no. It really wasn't.
LA was smaller.
Yeah, but that was back when the racial riots were going on, too.
Yeah.
So that's what I remember as a
everything's
kid.
just up the street.
Yeah. Compton.
Compton, yep.
Compton, where a lot of bad things happened.
It was terrible, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's what happened. I lived there. I met my children's mother in Long Beach, and we got married and had a couple kids and stuff.
Now you're 20 or so, 25?
About 24, 25, yes.
So you just worked in Long Beach in the...
I was a metallurgist.
Oh, really?
Back then.
Wow.
I worked for the foundries, and we did a lot of McDonnell Douglas parts, there. And I was a quality control inspector. So when part failed, I had to dissect it and stuff like that.
Because Hughes and Lockheed and Northrop.
Yep.
All those guys. That was a big part of San Diego and LA industry, right?
We did it Southgate. I worked in the foundry in Southgate, and I overseen the one in Burbank.
Okay.
So there was two of them hooked up by the same people and stuff. It was a good time of the year, but maybe too good. Lost my wife to my best friend. So you always get kicked in the groin sometimes.
Watch your best friends out there.
Yeah. So I took the children through the divorce and everything, and she took the house and all the physical stuff. And I took the kids and moved up to Humboldt County.
Why Humboldt?
Because I had one friend up here. And it gave me a new, it got me away from the 2-hour drive to work in the morning. I liked the trees and all that stuff.
Sure.
And I took all my life savings and started a restaurant called Belly Busters.
I remember that.
Yeah, so we did Belly Busters. Yeah, it was Arcata. Build your own hamburgers and Italian food in the evening.
I think I ate there. Was that in Northtown?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, it used, now it's a Vietnamese place. I forgot the name of the place.
17
But it was on G on 14th.
Yeah, it's right up. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
That used to be my place.
How about that?
I still have the sign.
You can reopen anytime. How about that? So, how much money did you have in your hand when you arrived in Humboldt?
Whew.
I think I had $20.
No, I had a little bit more. I remember I worked as a quality control inspector.
So you had a little bit of money.
Yeah, so I had a little bit of money. That's why giving her the house and the car and stuff like that was fine. I took the money and the kids, which were the most important things to me, and came up here. I had enough money to rent a restaurant and open up a restaurant. That was over in Sunnybrae, a very small one over there. Coney Island Hot Dogs was the owner of the place, and we took that over.
How long did you last?
I lasted there a year, and then we got the job on G and 14th, and we lasted there 3 years before I went through another divorce.
Restaurant's tough, though. That's a tough business.
Restaurant is tough. And I'm definitely glad I wasn't in the restaurant business during COVID.
Oh boy, those poor guys. So, how old are you now? And you're on your second marriage.
Oh my God, that's the painful question.
So you've seen some pain.
I'm getting ready to turn 65, and they tell me the insurance that I've been, doing all these surgeries, my open heart surgery, my hip surgery, is no longer available to me. I have to go on Medicare.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to go on Medicare. I got this insurance. Well, no, they don't want you no more. And you have to go on Medicare.
Medicare supplements, don't you forget.
Oh, yeah.
I know a guy.
I'm learning. Totally like a deer in the headlights. It's like, I know nothing about this. I was happy with my insurance. I didn't have any idea that I had no choice.
No, it all shifts at 65.
No choice.
Did you have one hip done?
Huh?
Did you have your hip replaced?
Yeah, I had a total hip replacement.
Which one? I mean,
my right hip.
Which hospital?
Oh, it was down in St. Helena.
Oh, they're great.
Yes, St. Helena.
My son was there yesterday.
The Kuhn Institute, and when I went to go get my hip replaced, they found my heart problem.
How about that?
So I didn't realize the third floor is the Heart Institute.
My son was there yesterday.
Yeah, so they took me in the Heart Institute. They did the open heart surgery there.
How about that?
3 months later, I came back and had the hip replacement.
Bionic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't feel bionic back then.
No. My son was there yesterday. He's 22. He has some cardiac stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, but they're great. Adventist Health.
Oh.
Shout out to all Adventists. You guys are awesome. And
They
your
are
healthcare
awesome.
is great. And your vegetarian food is also awesome.
Okay.
Faster.
I'm going to go all the way there.
Quick story. I got to tell the story. So I'm 14. I have really long hair, and we're smoking weed at the house in San Diego. Who's at the door? And it's old Roy Guess from the Adventist Church. He goes, I got your Bible for you. Do you want to do a Bible study? And I go, well, maybe not today, but you can come back. And so the next 13 Tuesdays, he came back, and I became an Adventist, got baptized, and the whole nine. Went to church. My Lutheran mother from Iowa didn't know what to do with that at all. Freaked her out. But there was Jesus, and there was the love and the Holy Spirit and the Word of God, and it was awesome. And I dumped all that for a Greek girlfriend about 2 years later. And that was okay. It was part of my journey. And so here we are with you hanging out. So
Yeah, life is a journey.
life, we say that all the time in our family, John. Life is a journey. So how did you get into what you're doing now from Belly Busters?
Oh, that's really good. When Belly Busters went out and I sold it and everything.
Might say it went bust.
Yeah. Actually, that's bad, Scott.
Sorry.
But
First time you heard that?
actually it is.
Sorry.
I started working for the restaurants, and I worked for a place called Village Pantry,
Sure.
and they were in Arcata.
Richard and his crew.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, about 7 years into that, I hurt my arm there. Hyperextended. I got a scar from here, goes up and down my arm.
Oh, wow.
They washed the floors at certain weird times, and I was the only cook. And one of the things wasn't stock, so I went to go stock. My ring, same ring,
Wow.
caught on it on the door handle.
Wow.
My feet went up, tore the door off the hinge.
No way.
It took all my muscles and like a rubber band, stretched them out and then ding, back together. So it was a giant knot.
Slip and fall.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So I had the surgery and everything. And then Village Pantry said they didn't have a use for me because I couldn't cook, flip eggs and anything
Sure.
anymore. So I was getting job trained through Workman's Comp.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I really just want to help somebody. So they put me with Redwood Community Action Agency with this angel named Simone Taylor.
Wow.
And she
Simone.
was an angel.
She's still here around the area?
Yeah, she still is.
Shout out, Simone.
She was an angel, and she saw something in me that I'd never even seen in myself.
Cool.
Put me in charge of the homeless desk where, we did vouchers, motel vouchers every night and everything.
Sure.
And we had a certain amount, and I had to do the engagement of
That
them.
was one of the agencies, or maybe still is?
Oh, yeah. RCA is still very big in this community.
Sure.
They do a lot of different things.
Mhm.
I was actually one of the first male case manager for safe houses
Mm-hmm.
in through RCAA. They had that much trust in me, and went back to school, became a substance abuse counselor while I worked there and stuff. That was probably one of the best times of my life at
Wow.
that point.
Wow.
I learned so much.
So you reinvented yourself.
Yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
got into what I was doing. And I went from helping at the safe houses to working for alcohol and drug care services as a substance abuse counselor.
Mhm.
And then I ran the Serenity Inn for 2 years as a motel.
Where's that at?
It's right across from the new hotel that they're building, right there on Broadway,
Oh, yeah.
right next to the bowling alley. It's across the street.
I wonder what that was. I mean, it's obviously a
Yeah.
motel. It doesn't say it's a
No,
Comfort Inn
it's-
or anything?
No, it's a very small Serenity Inn. It went really good.
it's still there, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
They used to have a lot of problems, and I came in and we fixed a lot of the problems and stuff. And then from there, I went into more of a private practice called Project Power, and it was for Native Americans, women, And we case managed that and everything for a while. And then it just kind of progressed. I worked for the county for the alternative response team for a while. Then I got this job opportunity at this really bad place when I was told in Arcata called the Arcata Endeavor.
Ah, heard of it.
And it was a clubhouse, not just for the homeless, but for the employees too.
Wow.
So I got to go in there as the operations manager.
Changed it?
Yep. We changed everything. No. The nonprofit that I worked, that's another reason why I don't want to be a nonprofit. The board members decided to go a different direction than what we were going.
Where'd they go?
They wanted to take care of families with children.
Oh.
It was a big thing. Money was all in it. There's really not a whole lot of money in helping single homeless people.
Right.
The resources that we provide for them are resources that are created by somebody that's out of touch with what the homeless actually need. You know, even the referral sheets have, here, go to this RV park that they have no intention of getting into.
Right.
You know,
so big disconnect there.
Yeah, there's a big disconnect as far as what people need and what people want to give them.
I have a heavy question for you. I've never asked this yet. So in your world, what breaks your heart the most? I mean, all of it's heartbreaking, I'm sure. But what really rends you and gets you to that place of emotion and hurt?
When I'm talking to a person that's in a camp and I'm asking them and telling them what my intentions are and what the end result is going to have to be over a period of time. And they're going, well, we don't want to cause any problem. Where do you want us to go? You know, I've sat there and tried saying, well, you know, we got this housing here and this housing here. And they're going, you know, we're not going to get in there.
Right.
That's the part that tears me up probably the most is because I'm there. They would go with me if I just had a place to bring them to. I could probably bring them to detox if they have room. I could probably bring them to waterfront recovery, but chances are they're not going to be able to get in with my say-so alone. They do work well with like law enforcement and stuff. Where do you take them?
Right.
You know, what do you tell them? You know, I would just assume take over some of these areas that we're doing this in right now and clean them all up and then say, okay, we're going to set up 3 camps here and you guys are going to stay together and you're going to let me know what goes on around here. And if somebody comes in that's destroying the place, you're going to give me a call. That's a better solution than what we got going on right now.
Right. Just random now.
Yeah. It's like hit and miss. And I hate saying this because in no way in shape or form do I think the homeless are moles. But you ever play that game where you got the big mallet and you pop the mole here and it pops up over there and you hit that one?
Wait, it has a name. Whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I
it's
hate
great.
using that.
It's a fair metaphor.
It's currently what we're doing.
Yeah. I might as well I'm giving you all the heavy questions today. So, and you're doing great. If you had 1 or 2 do-overs, what would you do differently in your life or in your ministry, in your work, in your community?
I probably wouldn't have pissed off the city manager of Eureka.
You kids out there. That didn't help.
My biggest regret is I pissed him off.
Same guy now? Is it Miles?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would do anything to make amends to that.
But that hasn't been the case.
It's not a possibility, I guess.
Okay. Well, hopefully he reconsiders. Hey, it's bonus round. Are you ready? We're gonna lighten this up just a little bit. So, hey, John, this is the part of the show where you get to talk about stuff you like in Humboldt. And I'm gonna keep the first one wide open. What do you like in Humboldt? If you had to, I'll give you the day off. What are you doing? What are you gonna go do? Tomorrow's Friday. You got the whole day off. Go for it.
Oh my goodness, that's So weird. Okay, I can answer other questions. Now you want to tell me what I want to do.
Free time. What do you want to do?
I love spending time with my wife and my granddaughter. Whenever we get a little bit of time, we'd like to go for drives.
Nice.
We just haven't been doing that so much because my wife's health and my health has been not so good lately.
So gas card and good health. Here you go. Where do you go? Want to go down to Shelter Cove, named after you?
If you really
Want
like
to go to Patrick's
know,
Point,
we
Subeg?
like to go to a warm place, rent a motel, and swim.
There you go. Okay.
That's our favorite thing.
Willow Creek, Redding.
There are no motels in Willow Creek.
Yeah,
to go
they're
to.
probably all gone. Yeah, they're not much. So, question number 2, and you're getting graded on this. Where do you eat out tonight? Unlimited. Here's the card. Go for it. Where do you and your wife go?
If we have our choices, it's either Adele's or Applebee's.
Applebee's. Okay.
My wife is insane about the wonton tacos.
Really?
Yes, it's like
Okay.
that's all she gets is wonton tacos. She's fine.
Jody just went to Sacramento, ate with her folks at Applebee's and had the salmon. Turns out it's amazing salmon.
Yeah,
Who knows?
I only like whitefish, so halibut would have been my choice.
There you go.
My favorite place is the little chef guy that cooks down by the waterfront, Bay One front.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I love that place.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, that's good. What's it called? It's Teppanyaki, but
Yeah,
it's
Teppanyaki,
Bayfront One.
Bayfront One. Yeah.
Yeah, they have good food. Okay. Third question: cup of coffee. Where do you go? And where do you go? What do you drink? I mean, some of us, it's a California mocha, but some people it's just a tall jug of black coffee.
Medium roast coffee, and I don't like coffee like from Starbucks and stuff. It's too much for my stomach.
Yeah.
I like a cup like Folgers.
You're a Folgers guy.
Yep, and I take milk in it, not cream.
Okay, for all you Folgers guys out there, there's a few of us left out there. How about chocolate?
When I get in the mood, I can't put it down.
Good
Normally, I
answer.
don't eat chocolate, but I guess I like to nibble on chocolate-covered raisins a lot.
Yeah.
And the little chunkies. You ever remember those?
Yeah,
The little squares that have the raisins and nuts inside of them and stuff?
Those are good. Yeah. Gosh, I haven't had one of those in years.
Yeah, me either.
And so in the vein of asking you the one-off questions, so if we give you what's your wife's name?
Jill.
Jill. You and Jill get a ticket, 2 tickets, anywhere you want to go around the world for a week. All expenses. Where do you go? Where do you want to take Jill? Where would Jill like to go? Maybe that's the question.
Well, I don't know if you know yet, Scott, but both my daughters have moved now.
Okay.
One just went up to Washington, Spokane, where we just got back from meeting. And the one that's trying to get better health care for her diabetes just moved to Tennessee.
Wow.
And they just got a house.
Back east.
If I had my way right now, it would be going to Tennessee just to see her.
Nice. Have you been there yet?
No.
Yeah, our son moved to the Netherlands, to Amsterdam. I mean, got to go see the new baby in November. So, yeah, no, I understand that real well. So, no, thank you. So, moving on into the future, what do you see for Humboldt's future with regard to the big picture, but also the homeless picture? What do you see? What would you like to see?
Well, the big picture of Humboldt, it's kind of like a lot of craziness going on. Building buildings, creating more storefronts, but the storefronts are open and vacant right now.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to lure better doctors and nurses in with an apartment in a parking lot versus they still have to walk outside.
Right.
What are we doing about outside? You know, I see Humboldt County as a very resilient place. The people I just love in Humboldt County.
Amen, brother.
I just went to Spokane. I went to many different other states and stuff. And the people in Humboldt County are special.
Yeah.
They're very resilient. Sometimes they don't speak up enough. And I think that's where I get a lot of the bad vibes from me because I speak up.
Yeah.
I talk. But I don't kind of like make things blown up, and I don't lie.
Right.
You know, the homeless problem is never going to get any better unless we try something different.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we try in right now, we can say, oh, this is different. We can repackage it.
Mm-hmm.
It's still at the end of the day the same thing.
Same old thing.
You still got the same people. You can have this person not do it, but if you pick this nonprofit, it's still the same thing. So we're never actually trying anything different. We're just trying status quo.
Remember,
Some experts have said housing first is we're going to fix homelessness. Our governor even said we're going to take 2.9 million percentage out of the budget, and we've solved homelessness.
Not happening.
What are you going to do? Beat it with the dollar or what? I just don't get it.
Thanks, Gavin. Yeah.
And here again, I don't want to talk ill. It's just the concept to me just doesn't make sense.
We've thrown money at it forever.
Yes. And it's not getting any better.
So Einstein said the definition of insanity is what? Trying the same stuff.
thing over and over again.
Still doesn't
expecting
work.
a different results.
Why doesn't it work?
Yeah.
Well, it's just not going to.
Well, Scott, we just built that multi-million-dollar project right there by Burger King and McDonald's. In McKinleyville.
Yeah.
Ain't got better.
Yeah.
It hasn't got better.
Wait.
In actuality, there's more homeless now in McKinleyville than there was prior to that.
McKinleyville's different. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Which project? Enlighten me, because I'm not sure. I kind of know, but what project are you referring to between Burger King, McDonald's? The homeless.
You're talking about the one right behind Burger King.
Yeah. Are you? Well, you
the
referenced
one that was built by the Department of Health and Human Services to address the homeless issues.
Okay. Yeah.
That one.
Oh, the resource center.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And that was supposed to address it, but the homeless can't even take a shower there.
Right. Yeah.
We used to have showers in McKinleyville I was really proud of.
Joyful Healer had showers, right?
Well, that was provided by AHA.
Uh-huh.
And then AHA lost their grant.
Okay.
So bye-bye showers.
Mm-hmm.
Although somebody still has possession of those showers.
Huh.
But they're parked in some parking lot now.
Wow.
Not being utilized.
Of course, yeah.
Because we have no grant money.
Mm-hmm.
Nonprofits need to learn. If you took all the government money away from nonprofits, they wouldn't exist.
Right.
They have no mechanism or any understanding about how to make money.
Right.
They could take money and spend money, but they're not making money.
Big point.
That's the reason why New Directions is a social enterprise. We make our money, and unfortunately, we can only do what our money takes us to do.
Nice. Let's bring it in then. Here it comes. How do we help? How could Humboldt, how could international people that see this go, hey, I want to help this guy. I want to help this group. I want to help this team. What can we do?
Well, we're a business. I can't give people write-offs for things that they give us, like machinery and stuff like that. You have to do something like what Miller's Outpost. Miller's Outpost.
Remember that?
Miller's Farms. Yeah, I do. Miller's Farms.
Miller Farms is amazing.
They work with us. I get all my equipment fixed there. And what they do is they farm out little jobs that they don't have time for to us. But what's better is they got to know my guys. They got to know my crews. They got to see us in action. And when it came down to it, they just gave me an 11,000-pound dump truck.
Whoa.
I can haul
What?
2 tons of trash at a time.
Sweet.
It's amazing.
Donated.
They donated. They didn't ask for a tax write-off.
Great family.
They said, you know what? You're going to put this to good use. We don't need it. We were going to sell it, but you know what? It's better in your hands.
Miller Farms, local nursery, power equipment, 80 or 100 years old.
Yeah.
You knew Gary Godwin in the power shop? What a great
We just got done using that dump truck in a job.
Yeah.
We used it twice. We pulled out, it was a little over 4,000 pounds of trash. And we didn't have to run back and forth with our little truck and trailer.
Right.
We had a giant dump truck. So when you ask me what people can do, is like, if you think we're making a difference, check us out online, the People of New Directions. Check out on Facebook. Check out John Shelter.
Is it all the people of New Directions or just newdirections.com?
It's the people of New Directions
Okay.
because let's face it, it's the people that make New Directions. It's not just John Shelter.
By the way, I should know that. I know that. I knew that. Yeah, I knew that.
The people of New Directions is because that's what makes New Directions.
Right.
It's
the
not.
team.
It's the team. It's the building of that.
There's no I in team.
Yeah. And it's all about the homeless. You know, we're pretty well recognized for our work. And this is a bunch of homeless people. And I keep on telling homeless people, you need to be proud. You need to sell this to your brothers and sisters who are out there. Jump on board with something that's going to make you feel good at the end of the day.
Right.
You know, I take befores and afters of everything we do, not just for me or for Facebook, but for these guys. So they can see at our little meetings that we have every other week. It used to be every week, and they got tired of that.
Yeah, every other
week, I get to sit there with my little PowerPoint thing and show them pictures. And,
Perfect.
You know, but people just need to start looking at, like, you can give to nonprofit and you can get that tax write-off, but is the nonprofit at the end of the day helping you?
Right.
And if they are, do what you need to do.
Sure.
But don't look at us like a business. We do the jobs that nobody else wants to do. I keep my rates way down, except for currently with this insurance thing. But my rates were considerably low because nobody wants to take on the responsibility about homeless encampments and stuff. So to keep the price down so we get work and the jobs get cleaned up.
There's an insurance thing in California. I know insurance thing. We're not going there. We'll talk after. So other agencies like Pack Out.
Those are my heroes.
Those guys are all kind of still. Is that the name?
Pack Out Green Team. You have our weekend warriors, is what I call them.
Yeah,
and that's not a slight.
But they're great.
They're awesome. Aaron Armstrong is not only a friend, but such a dynamic person.
Aaron's a good guy.
He's my hero.
Yeah,
you know, he assisted me in so many different things, and we've tag teamed on a lot of different projects.
Known as Dad Scott for years. What a great family.
Without these groups, without the group we have in McKinleyville, without the Pack Out Green Team, it used to be River Life Foundation, and it was Sean Swanson in Fortuna, which he passed away, and we're currently picking up the iron for him up there. But you got to have it.
Yeah, the whole team. So for John Shelter, on your, what do you want your legacy to be? What are we going to say about your funeral?
The had heart.
Had heart. Love it. What? And my real question is, what are they going to say on your tombstone? Same thing. I think you caught it.
I just want to be known to the person that had heart.
Nice. Had heart. Love it. John, thanks for coming.
Thank you, Scott, for having me.
Appreciate your candor and your love and your heart toward a community that needs you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's a privilege and an honor to be allowed into our community, into different areas and stuff. And to see the respect that our community members pay to my guys, that's priceless.
Amen. You're 100% Humboldt. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Scott.